It's coffee break! Ignore the chewing and chomping sounds in the background. It's the dog.
They got treats. They got little sweetie treaties because they're little cutie sweeties.
So, we didn't do an episode last week.
We didn't. We took a break.
We took a break for obvious reasons. Not much is going on right now.
Yeah. Not only were we just like not feeling it, but nothing's really happening. We're very quickly hitting the doldrums of summer.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we
That's
are.
at the end. That's August. What we're coming into is actually the beginning of summer, which now it's April. We will begin getting new things, new shows, new movies. Godzilla just happened.
We're going to start hyping things up for the conventions that are going to start popping up soon.
We'll get more information. Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
It's the only movie I'm looking forward to. I've mentioned that multiple times. Yeah, and also, it was Easter.
It was.
And then it was your birthday.
It was.
So, we took a little break, but it is Critter's birthday week. So, everyone, wish her a happy birthday.
Whoa.
If you don't, you will die of your sins.
No.
Man, what did we do on Easter?
Did we do anything?
I don't think we did anything.
I don't think.
I
Weren't we
remember
working?
I worked.
Yeah. I remember. Yes.
Yeah,
I streamed.
You've been streaming?
I was streaming. I watched Volume 8. I remember. Because people kept being like, Happy Easter. And I kept being like, oh yeah, that's a thing, isn't it?
Happy Easter?
Yeah.
I say Merry Easter.
Well, you're definitely wrong. It's like how British people say Happy Christmas. And it's like, no, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, why the Americans and the British version is so different? Because it would be like Merry Christmas but Happy Holidays.
Yeah.
But not Merry Holidays.
Yes. Happy Christmas.
Like, not every holiday merits a merry.
Britishisms are so unique. They're
Bagsies.
Yeah, bagsies, not dibs. Bagsies. They call trunks boots. Those aren't boots. Boots are shoes. Silly.
And they call garages garages. Cars are still trolleys.
Yeah, shopping carts are also trolleys.
Yep. No, they call cars carriages.
Yeah.
Yes. While Critter was doing her research on ghosts, I've also been there. So I've been watching Ghosts with her.
We watched all the 2 seasons available to us. I want to watch the rest of them, but I don't know where to watch them.
I'll start this out really harsh. I don't really believe in your video. I believe the American version is better.
That's what I say.
No, you double back on yourself at the end.
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
You say the living people are more interesting in the British show than the American.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no way. Jay is like one of the greatest parts of the show.
Okay, so that's one part out of the 3 total parts.
Thor.
Okay. Yeah, I say I prefer the American ghosts to the UK ghosts.
Okay. It's interesting to see the idea and then someone change it to make it different. Ghost is kind of fun. It is fun. There are some moments that get me.
They got renewed for 4th season too. I just learned about this today.
The American?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it and I was like, I think this one can go on for like way too long.
It could. The British version went on for 5 seasons, but also each season is only 6 episodes. So we were already like quickly passing the episode length the British version ever had with 4 seasons of 12 episodes each.
Well, there was a point when we were watching the American version where I was like, okay, it's after they fall through a hole in the floor.
That's at the very end of the 1st season.
It's the end of the 1st season? Yeah. And I was like, so typically now in American television shows, we see lesser episodes, usually 10, 8 to 10, maybe 12.
Yep.
And then they're short run, right?
Yeah.
Like 4 to 5 seasons. And then they're like, okay, we told the story, we're done, let's move on to something else, right? But here with Ghost, it's 22 episodes a season.
Something like that. 16?
Yeah, there's a lot of information in there that sometimes, especially when you're binging it, anything you binge, I feel like it all blurs together.
Well, I think we've had the first 2 seasons of the American version and the first 2 seasons of the British version, and then like a couple of episodes into the 3rd season for the US. But I was thinking about how the US version, by the end of the first season, we see how each of the ghosts have died. And we expand on that. And then the 2nd season explores their lives even more beyond that.
Okay.
Where with the first 2 seasons of the British version, we still don't know how most of the ghosts died. Like, the majority of them. We don't know how exactly Julian died, the captain. Like, we only know about Pat and Thomas's deaths. Most of them we haven't even touched on yet.
I want to bet Cap killed himself.
You think so?
Yeah. Because of his, strange is the wrong word.
His love affair?
Yeah. And him leaving him.
What kind of? Because he doesn't have any injuries on him.
Yeah, exactly. So it'd be internal.
Damn. That'd be sad. That's why I want to watch the rest of the show.
Whenever you deal with anything in the afterlife, you're going to deal with the inevitability of sadness. I mean,
yes.
Things live, things die. That's just the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
For what I did for Easter, I watched Testament, the story of Moses, on Netflix.
Oh yeah, we did watch that.
It's 3 episodes long, an hour and a half each.
It's like a weird half documentary, half biopic kind of deal.
And I had never known the actual story of Moses.
Which I was fascinated by.
Because I never watched that Pixar or DreamWorks movie. God, I did everything. And I'm so much better than that. I'm so much better. I know the difference between DreamWorks and Pixar. That was interesting to see how people interpret it, theologians, and what actually plays out. No one ever told me there was a magic battle in there.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys missed out on that one.
You were like amazed by that part. I was like, what are you talking about? This is such a big moment in the movie, in the DreamWorks one. And that's when you told me that you'd never seen it. We should watch it. It just wasn't available to watch for free at the time. We had to buy it.
Crazy good story. But as a non-believer, I still stand by, I don't fully believe in everything.
Yes. I come in with all these stories with a healthy amount of skepticism.
Yes.
But it is nice, like they're teaching good morals.
Yeah. Honestly, most of the time, I sided with Pharaoh.
Yeah?
I thought Pharaoh was honestly trying his hardest through most of, like, during the plagues and stuff, to try and ease the temptations of the Jewish God, the Hebrew God, right? And Moses just kept going on his thing, and he just escalated it, and it just became a little...
It's easy to, like, when you're telling, history is told by the victors, and it's easy to see Moses' side of, like, and he still didn't let us go, so we had to do more. But when you think about it from the Pharaoh's perspective, it's like, you can't just... like let all of them go all at once. That'll have huge repercussions on your society and your workforce.
And one of the theologians was like, if you take away the Jewish population from Egypt, you're taking away an essential part of its economy.
Yes.
Which would just destroy the economy.
But I think the most important part was when we looked them up historically.
Yes, so
and
Pharaoh.
King Ramses was real, but that's not what happened to him.
And Moses is not anywhere said to be in his story. Now, if you're religious and you believe in that story, that's fine. When I watched it, I put myself into that and just allowed myself to enjoy it, and I had a great time and I learned a lot.
Yeah, I grew up religious. I've been in it all before. I've gotten to the point where I don't believe anymore. It is nice to hear these stories every now and then, but they're just not ever the same.
Honestly, Moses to me was the archetype for what Jesus would be.
It does really feel like a beta read for Jesus' eventual story.
Obviously, it's a much older tale.
Yes.
Than the one that Yeshua would be in. Yeah. And that was kind of cool.
I think it's also, like, people don't often talk about Moses' anger issues. He throws the commandments on the ground and destroys them.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know, especially where this story starts, where he sees a slave master whipping someone, and he just bludgeons him to death.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's your hero?
I think, especially with the Jesus rewrite later, they made him like a wholly too positive like no flaws, all good, but like more understandably like the guy to kind of worship archetype.
Yeah, well, I don't remember Jesus killing anyone.
I'm pretty sure that was exactly the opposite of what he often was doing.
Yeah, well, Moses took out an entire army, by the way.
Let me heal your leprosy. See, he's dead. He's not bothered anymore.
Cured.
Hashtag blessed.
I hope everyone had a great spring break. I hope you had a great Easter. It's time to move on to the next great big holiday, Mother's Day. Just kidding. It's America's birthday.
Oh yeah, that is soon,
which is
isn't it?
so far away.
It really is.
Yeah.
The next big holiday, Magical Girl May. Magical Girl May.
There you go. So we're going to do coffee break as usual, the same way. And then at the end, there's going to be an extended part here where I'm going to talk about The Path of the Skinwalker, which dropped recently.
Yeah.
Something-
And you should all watch it.
If you haven't already. Or watch it again.
Yes. Just play it in the background on loop while you go do chores.
Don't worry. I've seen it, 12 times now?
Yeah. You get so sick of your own voice and your own edits.
It's a point where I quote myself, quoting myself. So yeah, if you guys are interested in listening to that, this will be in there. If you're not, enjoy coffee break. There will be an obvious, clear moment of when we begin doing that.
Yeah.
And you can dip out. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Okay, Freaky Friday 2. We talked about this in the last coffee break.
Yeah?
Lindsay Lohan talking about it because her new Netflix movie, she was doing a press junket for Irish Wish.
Okay.
And she was like, no, it's moving forward. We're doing it. Apparently, yes, it is very much in full motion. They have a director already. Jamie Lee Curtis is down for it.
Wow.
They plan to shoot this summer in Los Angeles. Which I was like, it just tells me this is going to be a Disney Plus thing.
Well, it was, yeah. It was a Disney movie to begin with.
If your story isn't pivotally supposed to be in Los Angeles, and you're now filming in Los Angeles, it tells me it's going to be... one Christmas movie.
I was thinking of Twitches, where they're like, it's Halloween, and everyone's wearing, like, summer clothes, because it's clearly summer in LA.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. So the director is Naisha Ganantara. God, I don't know why I keep trying to pronounce names.
Would I recognize them?
Welcome to the Chippendales. We did not watch this series.
No.
But it was appraised by its critics and reviewers.
Like Chippendales, like the dancers, or the Rescue Rangers?
You know, sadly, it's not the Rescue Rangers.
Dang.
There's only one Chippendale I want up in my face. And it's not the sweaty kind.
And one of them was voiced by John Mulaney.
And Andy Samberg. What a weird combo.
A good combo. But a weird one, I will admit.
Freaky Friday. We don't know any details on the plot, but it's happening.
Going to imagine, someone is going to swap bodies
What?
with someone else.
No.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I'm gonna assume probably Lindsay Lohan will swap bodies with her daughter character, and then it'll be a whole thing where Jamie Lee Curtis will get, like, roped in and be like, this is just like that last time. What do we do? And it'll be a whole thing. That's what I'm willing to bet.
It might be a three-way swap.
It might be.
Because Jamie Lee Curtis has talked about she wants to be the hot grandma.
Do we get... Is it through fortune cookies again?
We don't know any of these plots. We don't know anything other than it's happening, which, here's a weird thing to bring up, but I want to bring this up now. Bob Iger said we need to stop doing sequels, reboots, and yet you're still doing this.
He's the one, like, spearheading the most sequels and reboots.
Yes.
Bob needs to go. Man,
Well,
we keep shoving our feet in our mouths. Every single time we're like, this seems like a great development. It turns out to be, like, remember when we were talking about the merger with Warner Brothers Discovery?
Yes.
And we were like, this is gonna be great. And then it was absolute dumpster fire. And then it's like, Bob Iger's coming back. Hey, it was so cool. And now this is an absolute dumpster fire. We are the harbingers of doom in the media world.
It's crazy. During the time that Coffee Break took a little break, someone wrote an article, it might have been Deadline, about how it's time for Bob Iger to go away.
Yes. He's
Because,
too old.
and I totally agree with them. In the 2010s, I remember it was 2012, I was playing Resident Evil 6 when it was announced that he bought Star Wars or Lucas.
Okay, I do remember
And he
that.
also bought Marvel. Because Marvel 2012, that summer, they did The Avengers, which was a huge movie.
It was all coming together.
Yep. And he was expanding. That was his whole point as a CEO, was to expand the franchises, to make more of them. So there's so many iconic characters, it can touch every person on this planet.
Yeah.
So everyone would be a Disney fan. That was his initial plan.
Yeah.
Here, now, he's really just damage control because of what Chapek did.
Well, he also just seems like so painfully out of touch. Like he's looking at things that was popular during his time and going, do that again. I'm just like before Bob stepped in, we got Encanto. After Bob stepped in,
We got Wish.
we got Wish, which is just, let me kind of reference some of the old famous ones. That's all he's doing, is referencing things that was once popular, rather than innovating or being creative or like fueling people to be innovative and creative. Boo, Bob.
Okay. So just know Freaky Friday 2 is a thing now, and get ready for it to show up probably 2025.
I know what Jamie Lee Curtis looks like now. I don't know what Lindsay Lohan looks like.
She looks the same, just a little older.
That's what I expected, but it's still hard to picture.
Yeah. I saw her on the Kelly Clarkson show doing, again, more press junk and stuff. And she looked the same. She was just a little bit taller, a little bit older.
Still redhead?
She never really was. She's like a strawberry blonde.
Well, okay. What color do you think strawberry blonde is?
Dirty.
It usually gets labeled as red.
It's turned more brown. That usually is what happens to redheads.
That's why I was asking.
Okay. Just look her up, okay?
Okay, I will. Jeez.
Courtney Cox is in talks to return to the Scream franchise for Scream 7.
Wow, didn't they just, fire all of their other people?
They didn't. What happened was they fired that one girl for speaking out about political things.
Okay.
And then Jenna Ortega was like, I'm done. I'm not going to do this because she's already got too much stuff.
She's busy with that Beetlejuice movie.
Beetlejuice, which is obviously already done, and she's currently in Ireland filming. It might have already finished filming Wednesday 2.
Yeah, did we talk? We didn't get to talk about Beetlejuice last time.
No, I didn't watch the trailer because I don't like... I'm going to be honest, I'm not a Tim Burton fan. There's only 2 films of his that I actually really like.
And they're not
and
even
they're not
his
Batman's.
films.
And yeah, well, no, one is
Which one?
Corpse Bride.
Oh, that is him. Is that him?
Yes, that's him all the way. But Christmas Nightmare,
Yeah.
he's just the writer.
Yeah. I watched the because I like Beetlejuice. I don't like it as much anymore. But I watched the trailer and I absolutely hated it. I hate the gimmick of taking the banana song and just slowing it down to be like a funeral march type deal. And it's all big and sweeping and dramatic, and it takes itself so fucking seriously. And it's like, this was a comedy. This was a silly goof comedy. Can't we just have comedies?
There's some monsters and grotesque moments in it.
Yeah, but it's primarily a comedy. Especially if you look at trailers for it. Original trailers for the original one. It was a goofy fun time.
Yes.
This is so melodramatic and over the top, and it's just like, ugh. It's like a fan fiction. Just why we gotta take every story so seriously? Can we just have fun?
Why are we doing sequels 20 years later?
Yeah, that too.
Freaky Friday. So yeah, Courtney talked for Scream 7. The director of Scream 7, he left because he said it became a shit show.
Damn.
Sorry, I had the cough. Which it effectively killed the project.
I don't
And
know.
now-
I don't know how it keeps getting sequels.
Here's the thing. I don't understand why they want to keep going with this one
Yeah.
when whatever story the last two told is not going to be the story told here unless they recast and it's going to be obvious.
Uh-huh.
And also, I think this is my honest opinion. I've seen Scream, I've seen Scary Movie, and I think Scary Movie's version is the better version.
I've seen Scream, and Scream is fine. And I know it got way more convoluted beyond that. And it's not even like Saw, like the Saw franchise, where there's still the gimmick of
Saw 11, baby!
of them in their saw traps, you know? Even if you don't care about the overarching plot and the complexities of whatever. There's no gimmick with Scream other than, look, it's Ghostface. It's the Ghostface killer. That's it. It's recognizable.
Yeah, Saw. It's so insane how... There's 11 now.
I know. Even Scream doesn't have that many, and it was around long before.
And I remember when Saw became big, people were like, it's stupid, it's just gory for the point of... They called it, torture porn?
Yep.
They did everything they could to slander it, and here we are, 11 installments in.
Still talking about
In
it.
2024.
Yep.
So it stood its test of time. There are still fans just like me who love it and come back to it every year.
I'm gonna be honest, I think the only reason Scream has reached 7 has been because every other attempted horror movie that releases at the same time as it has been complete flops. Like the Halloween attempt a reboot, other random things that have gone into obscurity.
People loved the reboot of Halloween and Halloween Kills,
Yeah?
but Halloween Ends
Yeah.
was the flop.
Dang.
So, I don't know. We'll see where this Scream thing is going. Courtney Cox doesn't need more money. She has enough.
Isn't she also like 80?
She doesn't look it, but that's a lot of plastic and Botox.
The only one that looks pretty decent is Jennifer Aniston. And a lot of plastic. A lot of plastic and hair dye. If you look at anyone else from Friends, like the classic actors who are still around.
Jennifer doesn't look like that.
She looks fine.
She looks the same.
A little
She's older.
Yeah.
But
everyone else looks whole.
yeah, she was gifted with great genes, obviously.
Yes.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 3. Now, we talked about this last week, that they're going to put them together and call it the Pooniverse.
Uh-huh.
Right?
I'm excited.
What wasn't said in that was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 3. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know where they're going to put 3. Will it be after they do this collection of characters or before? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Apparently they can shoot these things out as fast as they can because they want to make this crossover event happen in 2025. But there's other movies they got to film, like Bambi.
A lot of them. They have a lot
Neverland.
of things. Yeah.
So, I thought it was interesting. But what it's going to introduce is Rabbit
Nice.
and Heffalumps
Woozles?
and Woozles.
Oh, dang. Easy. We're getting drugged up, guys.
Yeah, it was like there's no really point of reference from the original writer about what the Heffalumps and Woozles look like. Mm-hmm. I know later on when I was a teenager, they made a movie or a couple movies about a Heffalump.
Yeah, they have that song talking about Heffalumps and Woozles.
Well, that's how we knew about them.
Yeah, and they are all over the place, you know? Different patterns, different sizes.
But the Heffalump is an elephant.
Yeah.
There might have been a Woozle. I
Woozles are like weasel type deals.
Okay. Guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just meant to stand in as like nightmare things that you can't comprehend.
Yeah, I still haven't seen the first one. I want to sit down and watch these, but it's also like, do I really want to?
One day.
Because Terrifier, right? It's pretty much on par with Terrifier, which is about a clown that just goes around killing people.
I remember you watching that.
I watched Terrifier a long time ago, and then recently I watched Terrifier 2, which everyone was like, it's better. It was. And it was actually a really stupidly good movie for what it is. A slasher demonic clown. Super gory. Does not need to be like over the top like that.
Sometimes you just get in that mood. You want scary popcorn, basically.
Yeah. And talking about scary popcorn, Jurassic Park 6.
Oh, every time we bring up this topic, I just lose all interest.
Whether it's a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, we still don't know, but Scarlett Johansson is in talks to be the star. So it looks like they finally learned their lesson about Bryce Dallas Howard. And
not
upgraded.
good.
No. Better director than actress.
Yes.
Just like Sofia Coppola.
Yeah, I mean, some people have the gift, some people don't. Sorry. Some people just have better skills in one direction than the other, and it just kind of happens. You can't really do anything about it.
ScarJo, I think she could definitely handle something like this. It's being an Avenger and doing all those movies.
Yeah.
She's got the CGI thing down.
She's getting older, but she's not stopping.
No, but she's done with the superhero stuff.
I don't blame her. The superheroes got her. She must have been tired of the superheroes. I'm guessing by Ultron. You know?
Yeah, I think Ultron would have been the end for her.
I think just, finish out the story. Did the best job she could, but I always got the feeling that she... What was the one where she was, like, married to Adam Driver, and they argued with each other?
Oh my god.
I always felt like she enjoyed that one more because of the depth to it, versus Marvel's run around and look hot type deal.
Well, the same thing with Adam. Adam doesn't want to do Star Wars. He's done with it.
Yeah. Everyone who does these big things don't want to go back to it.
No. Which kind of bums me out because I love Kylo Ren and I wish we had a standalone Kylo Ren film.
No. If it was the spider, if it was the original idea of that, like, force-wielding spider demon...
So instead of Rise of Skywalker, this other script you're talking about, written by Trevorrow, which was called Duel of Fates.
Yes. Got it? Because that's the name of that song.
It makes so much more sense.
It does. I would have killed for that one. Palpatine again, lame. Lame as hell. Literally the lamest thing I could think of.
I don't know how, but they resurrected the dinosaurs again.
Poor Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac?
Yes.
Poor Oscar Isaac.
Moon Knight. Yeah. Oof. Ooh.
Went from one big franchise to the next, and his character is still just lost in nebulousness. Is he coming back? Who knows? It's been a long time.
Well, there's talks about how they're not going to do Eternals 2, but they're going to do something else. And they have this Blade movie coming in. And I also know, and well, we all know now, that John Bernthal is returning as Punisher in Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
There's a great way to put all these weird little darker Marvel guys. They have a name. I forgot what they're called.
The Edge
Dark
Marvels.
Knights.
It's
Marvel Knights.
we were looking up Phase 5 this morning. And other than Guardians 3, everything in Gen 5 is mid at best. Usually a flop.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm just so not excited for anything they have planned. After all of Phase 5 being that, ugh.
Except for Deadpool 3. Okay.
I'm nervous.
It's gonna win the Academy Award for Best Cast.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you think so?
It's two sexy hot men.
True.
That's so in Hollywood's realm.
It is. Best cast, give it to the sexy man.
Have you seen Maverick?
God, it's
There's
a good one.
3 of them in there. 4, actually. John Hamm.
Everyone's so... Man, we rewatched it for my birthday, and it was so good. It's such a good movie. One of my favorites. God, I love it.
Pirates of the Caribbean 6 is on its way. Speaking of Top Gun.
Really?
The guy who produces Top Gun and Pirates, Jerry Bruckheimer.
We're still doing Pirates?
Yes.
Really?
This is going to be a complete reboot. He said in this interview that when it came to Pirates over Top Gun 3, that certain actors were more available than others. He's talking about Tom Cruise being constantly busy.
Yeah.
And that Pirates would be the most obvious next choice.
Okay.
There are 2 scripts written.
Okay.
One script has Margot Robbie as the main.
I did hear rumors about this, yeah.
This has been working for years. There's another script that doesn't.
I'd be fine with seeing Margot Robbie. I would love to see Margot Robbie doing more, because I feel like she's so pigeonholed into Harley that I want to see her, like she was so good as Barbie. I want to see her just keep, like, expanding and showing off her skills, because I think she does have a lot more talent than we might give her credit for. But every time she's stuck as Harley Quinn, nah. So I'd be fine with it, especially if she could keep her original accent and sound like New Zealand or Australian.
She's Australian.
Sound like the Australian she is. I would be very intrigued.
They filmed most of them in Australia.
Yeah, so that would make sense.
Yes. I hope it's a good movie, because Pirates 5 was not that great.
No, but I like, Pirates 1 is a really good movie. They could capture that magic again.
Yeah, well, they could wonder where the stories come from. The Batman Part 2 has been delayed.
No!
It will... I know.
No! You started this segment and I got so excited for a half a second. God damn.
Yeah. Mr. I Am Vengeance will not be returning to the screen until 2026.
No!
This has to do with schedules and the strike.
Ugh.
They won't begin filming until early next year.
Damn.
Bums me out, but hey, at least they have more time to flesh this out, and whatever was kind of weird,
I guess,
they can fix or they can amplify. But yes, I'm bummed. At least we get the Penguin this year.
Do we?
The Penguin is a live action series based on Colin Farrell's character.
Is it still
the Penguin.
Colin Farrell?
Yes. Robert Pattinson has been seen on set. He's definitely going to be in it, at least for a shot.
What about Paul Dano?
Why would you want that creep back?
Because I like Paul Dano. I think he's a very good actor.
Every time he smiles now, I just think of the Riddler, and I'm just like, ah.
I know him firmly as the brother from Little Miss Sunshine.
Yes, which is a great performance.
Amazing. That's how, I'm lucky that I always see that, but I definitely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's the diner scene.
Yeah. Ironically, the diner scene in Little Miss Sunshine is the opposite.
At least you will get Joker 2. I'm not going to bother trying to say its name.
Yeah, it's French. God, I'm bad with French.
There's supposed to be a trailer soon, or it might have already dropped by the time this comes out.
We keep seeing the same old promo images for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a jukebox musical, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm excited. I like Lady Gaga.
I don't think this was a film that ever needed a sequel.
No, God, no. Absolutely not.
So to do this is stupid.
I'm intrigued regardless. It's mostly because I like Lady Gaga.
Somebody fire Bob Iger. They keep making sequels.
I think
even though this is nothing in his realm, fire him.
It's related to... It's your fault somehow, Bob.
Bob, you did it again.
No, I like Joaquin Phoenix a lot, and I really like Lady Gaga. So on that alone, I think I'm excited to see it. But, it's like a follow-up to The Joker, which as time has gone on, I like it less conceptually. We've only seen it the one time.
Mm-hmm.
There are parts I really like, and I think it's really interesting, but I think there's also parts where it could have been better.
Well, I read the script, and I was like, the script is way better than the movie.
It could be an audiobook, just the script.
Yeah, it's a really intense story. The Joker is a very disturbing film.
Mm-hmm.
And Arthur Fleck is just a horrifying character to even just personify in reality.
Yeah, I feel like there should have been a lot of inner monologuing or internal thoughts that you could get with a script, but not necessarily with film.
True.
Like, it's a lot of interpretation of how Joaquin Phoenix is going to dance in this scene. Because he does a lot of dancing, where I think an internal monologue could have helped.
And that might have been the big inspiration, was that stair-step scene. Mm-hmm. But does he fall in love with Harley Quinn? Oh, that wouldn't be her name. It eluded me by now.
I don't remember. I think Harley was her first name, but
Yeah.
Quinn was like Quentin or something like
Yeah.
that.
Does he imagine all this with her? Or like he did with, what's her name?
Margot Robbie?
No. He had a girlfriend in Joker. Do you remember the girl next door?
Yeah. I don't remember her name.
But she never really talked to him in reality.
I think there's all, because not only is like there's a lot of possibilities you could go with in general, but every version kind of like how every like origin story for Joker is totally different.
Yes.
Every origin story with his relationship, if it even is a relationship with Harley, is also different. So literally, it could be something we've seen before. It could be something totally new. Who knows? I'm excited to see.
It could be just the two of them spiraling into madness, the way the story is supposed to play out.
Yeah. So
We'll find out this October.
I'm excited.
Another setback. Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh, yeah, I was on the edge of my seat for that one.
There are rumors that there's a lot of production problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're thinking about 2026, and nothing's been confirmed yet.
Damn, I don't think they'll ever be able to top GTA 5.
Well, it's gonna be hard to top it when you don't release a fucking product. I'm sorry, I'm angry and frustrated. You can't tell me there's delays when it's been over 10 years.
Like, I never played the game, and even I was excited to see GTA 5. The trailers hyped me up. The 3 different plots, whether you liked them all or not, are iconic. The story mode and the online multiplayer mode had so much going on, and I just don't think 6 is going to ever be able to live up. Like, it might be able to meet that level, but it will never be able to surpass the expectations that 5 has set.
Yes. And it's a big steep... Don't forget Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
A lot of people love Arthur.
Yes,
Which,
but is it
that's
better
fine.
than Red Dead?
Well...
It's more story-driven.
I've met people who love Arthur, and I'm like, okay, I get it, but it's not John.
Yeah.
And John's my dude. John and Jack. I want a story about Jack.
I'm the one who's sitting here being like, I like Red Dead Revolver. The original. It was a puzzle game.
You have no room at this table.
And then Red Dead Redemption came out, and I was like, oh boy, I love Red Dead Revolver. And I played it, and I'm like, this is nothing like what I remember.
Yeah. So we'll find out probably this summer when they do all their video game showcases how this is going to play out. Speaking of more video games, Capcom. Dusk Golem is the online leaker who usually talks about Resident Evil. They have gone on to say certain things. Monster Hunter Wilds will be an open RPG,
Okay.
which is everything I want it to be. I'm so excited. Also, they stated that there will be no delays. It will not be held back. It's completely slated to be dropping at the beginning of 2025.
Nice. Yes.
Which I'm pretty sure will be around January 31st.
If they
It's
continue
when
their trend, it'll be a January thing.
January 31st or January 30th is when Monster Hunter World came out, and the year before that was Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Damn.
Now, 2 Resident Evil.
Good stuff. Both of them.
Yes, they did back-to-back home runs beginning each year. Resident Evil 9, they said, is also an open world game.
See, that's the thing. I don't know how you could do an open world Resident Evil without it basically just being Death Stranding, you know?
It would be more intense than that. It would be more like that one game from Sony. I played it a while ago with the biker dude.
what was that?
Gone World or something?
Yes,
Days Gone.
Days Gone.
Days Gone was fun. But Resident Evil... There's nothing more to say about Days.
Like, people might say all kinds of things about Resident Evil. They might tell you it is a survival horror game. At its core, it's a puzzle game.
Yes.
And I don't think an open world can be a puzzle game. As we've seen with Zelda, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they're not puzzle games anymore.
Oh my god, could you imagine if they put shrines in Resident Evil?
Oh. Oh, the hate. It's too powerful inside of me.
Resident Evil Shrine.
No.
Because it rhymes with 9.
Resident Evil, Tears of the Nines. Breath of the Nine. Nine of the Kingdom.
Starring not your favorite guy, Leon.
Yeah. So, like, on one hand, stupid excited for Resident Evil 9. Other hand, really don't want it to be open world.
Yeah. I can see where you're coming off with that.
Mm-hmm. Especially because I loved 8 so much. Oh my god.
I have a weird bug every now and then me. Not to play 8, but to go back to 7.
Really?
I do.
Ew. I really just don't like the bakers.
I like all but one.
They're too gross.
One is just so...
Is it Marguerite?
Yep.
Yep.
When she bent over and I saw her undercarriage.
No, we don't
and
need
the maggots.
We don't need to talk about it.
So, your horror of infestation is also my horror of infestation. Every time, it's the only thing in the world that makes me actually want to throw up. You know when people are like, you're going to make me throw up. And you're like, you're just kidding.
Yeah.
No, like, I really feel this urge to vomit and just get away from everything.
Horrible. And bleh. No. I liked 8 a lot.
Yeah.
8 was great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, a lot more palatable.
All the characters, fantastic. Even Moreau. Everyone makes fun of Moreau.
He's just a sad fish boy.
He sure is. I love Angie and
got
Donna. They're great.
Yep. And no one else. So...
Purposely not mention the 2 most popular characters.
Who?
Lady Dimitrescu.
I know, I'm the Resident Evil fan.
And Heisenberg.
So Capcom did a survey, which I actually did partake in. They did ask me to do this.
Oh, yeah?
And I stayed up one night and I did it. It took me about 20 minutes.
Damn.
They asked me a lot of questions.
What was it?
It was like, how do you feel about this? What would you want? How do you like this?
Okay.
You know, well, what's the future? And they can...
I was gonna ask, what's the results?
Well, we're getting there. They compiled it all. They had over 200,000 votes in the survey. And the consensus was what fans really wanted to see was Ace Attorney, which I spelled horribly wrong, Atturny,
Attorney.
and Mega Man. And the biggest one was people were asking for Dino Crisis. And I know I'm one of those people who was also like, please bring this one back.
I love dinosaurs.
So now they obviously they announced this because they took it into consideration. Mm-hmm. They took the slap to the face, and I think with the RE engine and how powerful it is, because what is the new game that Capcom just dropped? Dragon's Dogma 2.
Oh, that's Capcom?
Yes.
Dang.
That runs off the RE engine. That's why it looks so beautiful.
Okay.
The microtransactions are not part of the engine.
No, it's just an unfortunate.
Yeah, and then
what's the one they're gonna come out with later? The one that was like the like yokai fighting type one. That one was dope.
Yeah,
I want that.
Yeah.
I forgot they made Mega Man. Like you mentioned, you said Ace Attorney, then Mega Man, and I'm like, why is Mega Man on this list? And then I'm like, oh, that is Capcom.
Yes.
It is so long. I literally forgot it wasn't a Nintendo property because it's the last time we saw him was Smash Bros.
Mm-hmm. It's been that long.
It's been a very long time.
RE engine will run on. I believe it was already on World. No, It's not on World.
probably
they had a
would be-
different engine. They put it on Rise,
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Rise, and they're the linear or horizontal, the vertical movement of the game.
Do the plants look beautiful? It's the RE engine. That's what you're looking for. Does it look like the plants are real and you could touch the sunlight and be transported into a magical realm? It's the RE engine.
Yes. Rise doesn't look that good.
No.
It was supposed to be a spin-off piece, but there are certain aspects of the game that the world was never capable of doing because of the power of the RE engine. Monster Hunter Wilds will run on the RE engine, which will allow it. We've already seen gameplay. There you go.
Beautiful.
Go look at that. Enough said.
10 out of 10. Best game of the year already.
Yeah, it's clear that you could just make another dinosaur game in the vein of Resident Evil and make it
More dinosaurs.
based on Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Just look at that remake. It's clearly... It might have taken the place of Resident Evil 4, the original Resident Evil 4, as the greatest horror survival game.
It might have.
Which is insane. The game that inspired the sequel,
The remake.
that won the greatest game of the year and possibly one of the greatest games ever made, inspired the reboot of the prequel to become the... It's
crazy.
so crazy.
So many. Resident Evil is so goofy and fun. I
It
love
is.
it.
It's like Zelda, where it's like every time you get one, it's either like, or this is the greatest thing ever
It's
seen.
so true.
Because remember, we were going through Zelda. We were trying to figure out what 3 and 4 were.
Yeah.
It was A Link to the Past was 3.
Yes.
And each one, I was reading, like, the original Legend of Zelda, considered the greatest game of all time.
Adventures of Link.
Considered the greatest game of all time.
Yeah.
For its time, right? Link to the Past, considered the greatest game of its all time. Ocarina of Time, the greatest
Still-
game of all time.
Still considered.
Me personally, no.
Understandable.
Wind Waker, some people were kind of against it, but it is still pretty big for the GameCube.
Yeah.
Show me another GameCube game that runs that well.
I know. Well, GameCube had a lot of good games on it.
Yeah.
Like Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door.
Double Dash,
Double Dash was also great.
one of the greatest fighting games of all time. Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Man, the GameCube really was. GameCube and PlayStation 2 were peak. They were the best of what they had.
But 2... See, the GameCube went on to the Wii. The Wii branched off and became its own thing, right?
Yes.
I always consider Nintendo products a separate platform because they decided to focus on different things, like
They
the
really-
interaction.
Yeah, they'll hook onto a gimmick.
Yep.
They really love their little gimmicks. That's why every single Pokemon game since X and Y, even before then, really since Hoenn, has had their goofy little gimmick that the entire game is
Johto.
based around.
Johto had time,
I guess that was how...
day and night.
I wouldn't call that a gimmick. I would call that a basic function.
It's a gimmick to me.
It also introduced gender and eggs.
Yeah, that's a gimmick.
I don't know. Hoenn introduced Double Battle. Then Sinnoh introduced a lot of stuff, like abilities and things like that.
Double Battle's not even as cool as Rotation Battle.
Yeah, the good old rotation. I remember when Double Battles were introduced, I lost my mind.
Coliseum is nothing but Double Battles.
I know, it's so good.
Go remake that one or make a third one. So, box office trolls.
Box office trolls.
There is nothing to say that you don't already know as a viewer or listener.
Yeah.
It is clear that Godzilla won.
Yahoo!
This is crazy, insane, especially hot off the heels from -1. Mm-hmm. And this one, it's just stupid fun.
It's a good time to be a Godzilla fan.
It is.
honestly.
The critics did not like it. They liked... This is weird.
Critics don't like anything.
Well, no, because you see the first... somebody lined this up on Twitter. It was the scores of the critics versus the audience.
Okay.
The first one, Godzilla 2014, ranks just as high as Godzilla vs. Kong. And I was like, why? Because we can't even rewatch it because it was so horrible.
It was, ugh.
And
Ugh.
here's why. When it dropped, right?
Yeah.
It went straight to streaming, and we were in a pandemic. So what was its real competition? A virus.
Yes. Also, okay, so the original, the 2014 one, good, slow. A lot of people until eventually you get to the monsters. And Zilla versus Kong, similarly, well, it's not as slow, it is a lot of people, and then eventually
Kong is
you get
there.
to them. Yeah, there's like that quick little fight in the, like, near the beginning where they fight on the boat.
Yeah,
In
just
the-
a boat. Not an aircraft carrier. Just a boat.
They fight on that dinghy on a canoe. But yeah, and then that's like basically it until the very end. So I think it's the real obvious pattern is the more people are in your Godzilla story, the more boring it is. Give me monsters. I'm here for the monsters.
One of the biggest complaints about this one is King Scar. He's the orange monkey dude.
The orangutan.
He's a original character. And apparently he is just not fleshed out. I've read the whole plot, I already know it.
I mean, I don't know what he could be other than just Kong again, but now he's an orangutan.
Well, imagine Kong with a magic crystal that gives you telepathic powers to a very powerful monster.
Yeah, was I mentioning this on the podcast? I don't like it when the weapons get involved. I like, give me the monster magic.
Well,
give me your abilities.
they
The
have
moment you
weapons.
introduce weapons, I remember on stream I said, like, Godzilla doesn't need a sword, and then I just laughed because I pictured Godzilla with his tiny, stupid arms holding a sword.
But Kong has an axe with a Godzilla scale on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's dumb. I'm not into like, a monkey is already so ferocious. Giving him a weapon, you might as well just be a big person at that point. You know? Am I wrong? He already speaks.
Get rid of King Kong. He's stupid.
He
Just
already,
put a human in
he already
there.
talks with his sign language. Like, that was the whole thing with the monsters.
I think a lot of people are enjoying Shimu?
Shimo? I have no idea.
The new dragon, which was also a new thing.
A lot of OCs in this one.
Those two.
Yeah. They're
And
the
then-
big ones.
Yeah, and there apparently a lot of critics had a problem with that, and I can get it because I was like, there is no foundation for them.
Well, critics also didn't like Muto, and now I'm like, hell yeah, #1 Muto fan.
I don't know how you like Muto.
They keep, okay, and I'm pissed because every time, like, with the Monarch TV show, they keep calling new things they come across Mutos, because it's like short for mutated monster or whatever. And I'm like, no, Muto's a specific monster. Stop calling them that. Muto's the bug ones, and I thought they're cool because the girl was different than the guy, because that's what bugs are like.
Yes. Where the movie ends off, Kong and Shumao,
Sean.
Kong and Sean go back into the underground world, and Godzilla goes back to sleep, right?
Yeah, he sleeps in the
Oh,
Coliseum.
by the way,
right?
Godzilla turned pink, and that was inspired by Dragon Ball Z. I knew it somewhere deep inside of me. I thought about it, but it has been recently confirmed.
Nice.
Makes sense to me.
Uh-huh.
That one would inspire the other. But they go back into the Hollow Earth, right?
Okay.
And I was like, so let's not do another Godzilla, and let's not do a Kong. Now's the time to introduce a mech.
Jet Jaguar, baby.
Jet Jaguar going into the Hollow Earth to further explore it and running into King Caesar. Because you already got King Scar.
Yeah.
Let's get King Caesar. Make that a movie. Have Kong and Zilla in the background mentioned. Maybe we see them.
Yeah, there's so many other This is such a huge universe.
Yes.
There's so many other things
Stop
we could do.
focusing on these two. And look,
As much as I love Zilla and Kong, honestly, there's so many others. They don't need to always be attached to one or the others.
Yeah, and then you could do a cool movie where the three of them team up to fight Destroya
You could do
or
Zilla,
Organa.
Zilla Avengers, basically.
Yeah, what is that now? Kong versus Zilla in New Empire War?
Yeah.
It's just Avengers 2. Age of Shimo. Okay, so that was Coffee Break.
That's it. It's a short one.
Yep.
Short, quote unquote. It's only 10 minutes shorter than usual.
Than usual, yeah.
If even.
But, yeah, if you guys just were here for that, that's the time to leave. And next, The Path of the Skinwalker.
So professional sounding.
In the southwestern desert.
You just say the whole script.
Just reread the script. Oh, man. Okay, where to start with this thing? Okay. Long ago, I made a joke on Coffee Break that maybe I would do a Garbage Eggs about a cryptid. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, maybe the Pukwudgie. Yeah. And some people showed interest, and I was like, okay. So we did that.
Yeah, we talked about the Pukwudgie.
And it was pretty successful. Mm-hmm. Of all of them, except for the Christmas episode. The Christmas ranking one was the most successful.
Everyone loves Christmas ranking videos.
And that was fun. We should do another one. Mm-hmm. Maybe this year, maybe next year. I don't know.
We'll see.
But the idea began as I wanted to do Garbage Eggs again, where I wrote down all this information and then told you in podcast form. Yeah. And then you would interact with me. But then you didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I felt like I wasn't really adding anything to the interaction bit because you wanted to tell the story. You didn't want me to interrupt you at certain points.
There were some moments where I was like, it is kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. But so I understood that I was leaving you behind.
Yeah. Like, I was like, it would be better if you just lay out your thoughts on your own terms.
And so I finally sat down and I wrote out the script. And I wrote it back in October of 2024. Mm-hmm. I took a lot
You mean 2023? This is 2024.
Yes, 2023. October 2023. Uh-huh. It was supposed to be recorded back then. A lot of things came up. Life happens. Mm-hmm.
A lot of projects got delayed for both of us at that
point. Things were getting harder. Mm-hmm. And as I kept going, one idea I had that happened to me over the summer when I decided that so this is the summer of 2023, before I've even written the script. Mm-hmm. I already knew I was going to do the Skinwalker. Yeah. That was the one I threw my dart and I said, I'm getting you, you bastard. And I was like, let's see if there's any podcasts that talk about the Skinwalker. There were a few where they just tell stories of people dealing with them, right? Which I don't believe in. But they're fun. They're fun to listen to, right?
Yeah.
There was one who actually attempted, and they were called Believing the Bizarre, and I became a huge fan of them to the point where I've listened to every episode to this recording. Nice. I've actually went through all of their back catalogs and listened to everything.
Hell yeah.
And became a fan and enjoyed them. They don't always talk about cryptids. They'll talk about ghosts. They'll talk about aliens. They got a nice rapport, kind of like us.
Nice.
One of the guys in there, he reminds me a lot of myself because he's my age and his favorite video game is Resident Evil 4. If you're looking for more stuff like that, I do recommend you go check them out.
Yeah.
So once I realized that, I was like, because you didn't want to do it, I was like, I guess I'll do it on my own. I finally had time and enough, I need to do this. Mm-hmm. I sat down. I recorded the audio, 3 different times?
3 or 4. Like, you went back and redid sections.
You can hear where I mispronounce things. Mm-hmm. Like, frunding instead of funding.
Okay, in my ghosts video, I've been doing this for 5 years. And in my ghost video, I was supposed to say bootlegger, and I said bootlicker. And I'm like, man. Yeah. So even 5 years in, I keep goofing things up. It happens, But also, I remember, way back at the beginning, my early days, all nervous, and you don't know how to do it when you're trying. You gotta start somewhere. That's the thing. You'll never get to the point where you're happy with what you're doing until you start where you're nervous and weird and awkward.
The first day of recording, I was here where I'm recording Coffee Break. Mm-hmm. But it was just me. And I was very nervous. I was stuttering. I was messing up everything. I was hitting the desk constantly.
Yeah.
Because I was adjusting and I was just overthinking everything.
Well, even going back to the beginnings of Coffee Break when we were doing Garbage Eggs. way back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
stilted, nervous. You gotta start somewhere.
One of the craziest things to me, having written the script, gone in, did all the research, there are things in there that didn't make the cut. There's a big reason. A lot of things did not translate from one to the other, right? So, like, someone left a lovely comment about the poison, right?
Yeah.
How they can poison you. This was only found on one website. When I went into it further, there was nothing else to validate it. Therefore, it was made up.
Yeah.
I have to use my collegiate skills here, and I wanted to point that out. As I kept going, I realized I can't tell the story of the Skinwalker, right, without telling the story of the people who tell it. And I found more like fascination talking about the Navajo and the Ute.
Yeah, you're more interested in the history element of it rather
Yes.
than the here's the rules of the don't let your vampire eat garlic type deal.
And see, I don't care about vampires or the vampiric idea of modern day. If I were to do vampires, and it's not on the schedule, but it would be too big and be so annoying.
It'd be you might as well just review Dracula at that point.
Why? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's already been done so many times, right? And when I saw no one did Skinwalker, I was like, it's time to do this.
And I think it's a good idea to know when to trim things out. I've had parts of my videos that I was like, you know what, all of this not necessary. Cut
Yes.
all of that out.
Yes.
Get rid of it. I had a whole section in my Ghost video talking about why American broadcast systems will just make their own versions of British shows rather than just airing the British show. And I'm like, you know what? It's too much of a boring tangent compared to what I'm trying to get to with this video. So get rid of it.
Also, originally, it went intro, Navajo, Skinwalker, Ranch. And as I was recording and piecing it together, I realized Ranch can't be at the end. It has to be in the middle.
Yeah.
And then we get into the show and talking about Robert Bigelow,
Yep.
which also is a big thing because now I've opened the door to aliens or extraterrestrials, inner and extra dimensional creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, this is going to get so convoluted. The guy who constantly claims on that ranch that he's seen something, I've seen him in multiple interviews. He's shown up on the show in the recent season.
Yeah.
And he tells the same story. His story, he has his story concrete. His background is after he was working with Bigelow, he went off to go become the director of Department of Defense. So the DDOD.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Dodd.
And him and Travis, who's part of the show, he brought Travis on, and Travis is the one who coined the term UAP
Yeah.
instead of UFO, because it's not clear if they're flying. Anyways, that's aside from it.
It's such a schematics type
But
deal.
as this guy kept talking about it, and I'm watching him, and I'm done all this research, I'm like, there is no evidence that what you saw is what you saw. There's no pictures.
Yep.
There is no footage.
Also, a lot of that stuff is very easily faked.
You didn't write it down. And he just talks about it. And it's like, dude, I can talk about that one time when I was on Barney.
Yeah. I could
That
talk-
never happened.
Yeah, but you can. It's so people can lie so easily.
And he's a politician, which told me immediately,
A liar in your blood.
you are guilty till proven innocent when you're part of this, right? Skinwalker. I realized that it would become its own presentation at some point during Christmas.
Yes.
And I was like, great, how do I do this? There was a lot of fear and panic of not only doing it for my first time,
Yeah.
but also successfully doing it without stealing anything from people.
Yeah, that's the hard part too.
There was a lot of cool pictures that I wanted to put in that I couldn't because there were copyrights on them. And I felt like some of these pictures would have fully illustrated better than what I did.
Yeah, it's
But
tough.
I was just like, I don't have the budget, and I don't want to work around all this, you know. So I figured it out, and the soundtrack. Now the soundtrack was an interesting idea.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about your soundtrack. I tend to avoid really high-pitched bleepy bloppy noises. Like
Yep.
you went with classic video game soundtrack.
I went with a 16-bit soundtrack.
I usually go with something a bit more smooth, less peaks and valleys.
Well, I had asked you what was your soundtrack
Yeah.
and the one you used. And when we were watching your Ghost video, I heard it.
Yeah,
And I was like, I can clearly tell what it is.
I use a variety of, it's all video game soundtracks, but like Kirby, Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, Sonic,
Banjo.
Banjo, lots of banjo.
And I thought about that and I was like, okay, what's video games that I like? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I could use Resident Evil. That's not going to really work. I thought about Castlevania. And then I was like, I'm not too sure about that one. And then my mind just went to this weird spot. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we have the idea of this dark, glooming soundtrack, but let's do something that nobody's actually heard in a long time. Those songs are actually from the video game Sweet Home.
And it's so old, the original thing that was the inspiration for Resident Evil.
And the weird story there about that is that they said they're going to make a movie and told Capcom.
Uh-huh.
Capcom made a game.
Yeah.
And then as they're filming the movie, they were like, we don't know what to do. So they looked at the game while the game was looking at the movie. So they kind of inspired each other. And then it became this thing.
And the game's so old that there was no copyright on that music.
Nope, there is no copyright. But it is Home Sweet Home,
Mm-hmm.
The soundtrack. The last track is an orchestrated piece of it, so it's not 8-bit.
Okay.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Editing, oh my god. I hate editing. But I will tell you this. I had so much damn fun editing this thing.
That's the bug that'll get you.
I kept coming back night after night, working on it. One night I stayed up to 1 a.m. You were already abed.
Yeah, you sound
and I
bad.
was still plugging away.
It's when you sit
Color
there.
correction became second nature to me.
It's when you have like an idea for like an edit, and you just know, you feel it. That's the thing to do. Ugh, that's the good stuff.
Figuring out my fonts. My favorite font in the world is New Courier. And,
I like Fixities, but I don't use it a lot.
Yeah. And then I found out about this weird underscoring thing that it can do. Mm-hmm. And then capitalizing the first letter of each word, and it changed the underscores, and that's just how I was just playing around.
Yeah.
Getting that weird effect when I show the Bigelow Space Project and it has that glow effect. I just found that and I was just like, that is so stupid, I have to use it. Mm-hmm. It was an incredibly fun and stressful process. It was draining.
So when's the next one?
Well, sad news. No, there is no sad news. One of you have asked me if there's going to be more. Yes, there's more. I've already planned out 10.
I'm excited.
Skinwalker was the first. Technically, Pukwudgie is the original.
Uh-huh.
But because the format has changed, Skinwalker is the first. The next one should drop by the end of this month, and you should get one each month all the way to December.
Yeah, hopefully it won't take 6 to 7 months.
Now that I have a really good, clear idea on what to do.
Once you figure it out, it's easy to pick up your pace.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
you can plan ahead better.
And one of the things when writing the script and thinking, oh, I'm going after this creature, right? This cryptid, right? Mm-hmm. I realized quickly that this is not an actual creature. I'm going to tell you right now. Whether you believe in them or not is up to you. But with my understanding, this is a folklore that is passed down from the Navajo people. It is a story they tell to their children to warn them of doing bad things. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like Krampus.
I like because the point of your video isn't to persuade people it's not real or it is real or whatever. It's just to lay out the facts and just tell you what it's about.
That's what I did. And I hope I really succeeded in it.
I really enjoyed it.
The growth of it has been amazing. Mm-hmm. I'm very happy with that.
I think the next one's going to be even better.
It's going to be way more fun.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to debunk it.
Well, I'm excited. I know what it is, and I know the gimmick with it.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to see how you go about it.
What was next? I knew there was one more thing. Oh, man. It escapes me. I'm glad you guys all watched it and enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And I hope it brought more people closer to it. Another thing, when I was making it, I had a weird moment of doubt. There was a lot of moments of doubt.
Oh, endless. Constantly.
And one of my doubtful moments was, hey, a long time ago you looked up podcasts. You didn't look up YouTube videos. So I looked up YouTube videos. Could not find one that just talked about the Skinwalker. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dude, we have gold.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. The next one will hopefully be a little better with the audio.
You'll have to go through the growing pains. There's you can't go around it.
You know the craziest thing I found out while doing it? There were times where I riff, and you can hear me riff or try to riff at the end when talking about Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, the TV show, and the very end of the presentation.
Yes.
There is so much I cut out.
Because a lot of
it was so bad.
Babbling.
Yes. Yep.
Based on my experience, you'll just get better at it.
Yeah.
I will also riff, and I feel like it's gotten to the point where you can't tell when I've stopped scripting. There's a part of my very long What Ruined Ruby video where for like 20 minutes I just riff because I was so in it, and I feel like you can't tell.
We all could. No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you'll get better at it.
What was funny to me is 3 years of doing this podcast and coffee or garbage eggs. Yeah. Right? And then trying to do this, and I just couldn't do it. And I was like, how do I not have that skill set? And it's different if when you don't have someone next to you in the room. Mm-hmm.
It's because I can fill when you're thinking. I can fill the empty space. Yes, that's the thing. When it's just you, it's all you.
And it's empty. So yeah, next week, the way I plan to do this channel for now on is that Saturdays will be power-ons, right? And Tuesdays will be special presentations. There's another type of video coming soon this month. Yeah. I should just be honest. It's film reviews. Uh-huh. I haven't done them. I've always wanted to do them.
You've attempted some scripts before.
Yep. I wanted to do these back when I was in college. Mm-hmm. And it's... Skinwalker shouldn't have been that hard. I should have started with doing film reviews. But now I have all the basic tools in my pocket.
Hell yeah.
So we're going to bring that in. There was a power-on that I was working on during February that just did not work out well. Mm-hmm. I don't like the game. I forced myself to play it, and I still hate it.
If you gotta learn. If you don't like it, don't do it.
Well, it's called Elisa, which is based... The game and the mechanics are based on the original Resident Evil. Yeah. You can look this up. I thought about dropping some footage, but then I was like, where's it going to go? It's going nowhere.
Yeah, and it also doesn't help. It doesn't help if you're not having fun, and also if you're not even playing the game very good. Yeah. You kept dying.
Yeah, and I was just like, you know what? I don't like this. And then you convinced me, move on. Yeah. And I was like, well, what's the next one? One Piece Odyssey.
Hell yeah. You got it today.
I did. I have a physical copy. I know, I'm old school. No, it was $15, and I was like, sweet, that's a steal. Because it's still $40 to $60 online. Damn. Just for the digital. Wow. So that will be next Tuesdays, and then the next Tuesday should be the film review. More garbage eggs, because that also got clogged up because of Skinwalker. Mm-hmm. So we finally...
Lots of fun stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, I finally broke through that thing, and that's what I made. And... It's weird. It takes a lot of inspiration of the things that I love, like Resident Evil, the soundtrack, history. Yep. Just from being an old white man.
Cryptids.
Cryptids, which have always fascinated me. Mm-hmm. And one of my biggest inspirations when it came to editing and how to tell the story was Ghost Adventures. Yeah. So, thank you everyone for listening.
Mm-hmm. And... to this podcast as well.
Yes, and to the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Coffee break should be going for a while.
Yeah, I can't think of any reason for us to go on another break.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go watch Wish now.
Oh yeah, we gotta get dinner started.
Yep.
It's 9.
Yep.
Oh.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe if you haven't. More things are to come. Leave your comments. It always helps. And it's always really just interested in what you guys have to say.
Yeah.
Unless it's negative. Pack
Yeah.
that shit up and go somewhere else.
How dare. Bye-bye.
Bye.